Hi there and welcome to the Met Office 10-day trend. Will there be any more storms? That's the main question we keep being asked here at the Met Office. It's certainly been a stormy start to the week with a powerful jet stream coming out of North America because of significant temperature contrast there. And that powerful jet stream currently around 200 miles an hour, way up in the atmosphere, lying above the UK. It's taking Storm Jocelyn away with it, and the jet stream continues to dominate the UK's weather over the coming days. Here's the jet stream once again coming out of North America, but the temperature contrasts now are not as significant, so the jet stream not quite as powerful. And actually, over the next few days, sometimes that jet stream will split into two, with the northern branch generally taking areas of low pressure a bit further away from the UK, more towards Iceland and Greenland. That means it's not going to be quite as stormy, although it is going to stay unsettled for the next few days, certainly, and into next week, with those lows passing to the north of Scotland and isobars generally close together, bringing, again, windy and occasionally wet weather. Now, if we rewind the clock to the start of Thursday, and you can see the first of those lows out towards Iceland will bring some weather fronts, certainly across the UK, and these weather fronts are going to bring thickening cloud and outbreaks of rain in from the southwest from the word go. So a cloudy and damp start to the day for many, although some brighter skies and some lower temperatures in the northeast of Scotland. By lunchtime, much of the UK will see those areas of cloud and rain spreading in. The rain fairly on and off, especially towards the south and east. It's not going to be particularly heavy or persistent, but there will be some heavier rain over western hills at times, and a lot of cloud in the sky with a breeze coming up from the southwest, bringing fairly humid conditions, 12, 13, 14 Celsius possible, so a very mild afternoon, certainly when you compare it with the same time last week. Some brighter skies into Northern Ireland, but all in all it is a dull and damp day compared with Friday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine by this stage, especially across England and Wales, southern Scotland as well. Further showers for Northern Ireland, much of central and northern Scotland as well. And it's a bit colder, so those showers will be falling as sleet, snow, perhaps hail over the hills and mountains of Scotland. Could affect some of the higher routes in Scotland, but not as significant, obviously, as we saw at times last week. It's going to be blustery as well towards the northwest. That's going to make it feel a bit colder. And the wind's a key feature of the weather as we head into the weekend once again. Areas of low pressure, again, near Iceland and Greenland, so not too close to the UK, will send a broad swathe of strong winds. This is the wind gust animation corresponding to the key on the right there. And as you can see, as we start off Saturday, this is 9 a.m, just ahead of a cold front. We're going to see a squeeze in the isobars, 60, perhaps 70 mile per hour wind gusts for the north and northwest of Scotland. Gales, in other words, could bring some disruption here and there, but not as strong as we saw through Storm Jocelyn and Storm Isha, and certainly nowhere near as windy towards the south. And actually on Saturday there will also be a fairly active band of rain affecting the north of Scotland at times, and that rain will persist throughout much of the day. It's not going to disappear very quickly. Further south, a lot of cloud cover for Central Belt southwards, as well as Northern Ireland, generally dry. And there will be some bright spells at times, particularly towards the east and the south. Another relatively mild day, 9, 10, 11 Celsius or so, after, in some spots in the south, a chilly start. Now, we go into Saturday night with further wet weather pushing into Northern Ireland for a time. That spreads across Scotland, a couple of weather fronts moving in, and a few spots of rain possible over Wales and western England from time to time. A fair amount of cloud and some hill fog across western and northern hills as well. By Sunday, the rain in the north starts to spill south, but it stays dry in the far south and southeast, with, again, a lot of cloud, but feeling fairly mild, 12 or 13 Celsius. Some uncertainties by this stage in terms of the position of this band of rain. Could be a bit further north, could be a bit further south, but the general theme is that it's going to be spilling south through the day on Sunday and weakening as it pushes closer to higher pressure. Now, that uncertainty aside, it is going to be wettest through the next few days across the northwest of the UK. This compares the 5-day rainfall totals from Wednesday to Sunday across the UK. And as you can see, most areas will see a bit of rain, but not a great deal, between 1 and 25 millimetres. But it's across Northern Ireland, northwest England, parts of Wales, and more especially the west of Scotland, upland areas in particular, where we're going to see significant rain building up, and that could cause some issues. Could even be a bit more than suggested on this graphic, 100 millimetres or so. So by the end of the weekend, certainly a very soggy picture for the west of Scotland as this front finally clears, but it may not clear entirely because by this stage there are some significant uncertainties emerging in the different computer models. And that's to do with this area of low pressure that the front is attached to. Now, in the latest run of the Met Office model, well, this area of low pressure gets picked up by the jet stream and deepens, and as a result, the winds push the front back further north again. So a spell of rain on Monday, moving north across the country. It never really affects the south, and it stays dry here. It also turns increasingly breezy in this version of events. But we don't just run the computer model once, we look at lots of different runs with small tweaks at the start to see how much chaos theory plays a part in these weather patterns. And, well, actually, this area of low pressure in some of the solutions behaves very differently. Now, in one of the scenarios, we've got this more developed low, we've got the band of rain, there's the UK moving northwards. But there are other computer model runs that suggest that it won't develop at all, it will sit to the south. And in this case, the front does actually linger across southern parts because it never gets sent north by the area of low pressure. That would lead to a damp day on Monday in the south and a drier day further north. Now, these uncertainties originate in the behaviour of a system that's coming out of the United States and Canada during Thursday and Friday, the next couple of days. And we won't really be able to resolve these differences until that system moves into the Atlantic, and then we can see the effect that the jet stream will have on this area of low pressure. Either way, actually, by Tuesday, we've got greater confidence in the evolution of events because by Tuesday, there is high confidence that this will be the general weather pattern. There's a 78% probability that this is what the weather charts will look like by Tuesday, with low pressure again near Greenland and Iceland, higher pressure towards the south and southeast. Many places dry, but with outbreaks of rain potentially affecting parts of northern western Scotland, perhaps Northern Ireland and northwest England, and breezier here as well, but mild because we've got a southwesterly airflow. We skip forward a couple of days to Thursday, and again, high confidence, 75% probability. And this is looking at 8 days' time for this kind of weather pattern. Higher pressure to the south, lower pressure way to the north, westerly or southwesterly winds bringing mild air, but the further north you are, the more unsettled it will be. The further south you are, the drier and calmer it will be. So that's the most likely scenario for later next week. Then as we go into day 10, so Saturday the 3rd of February, again, this is a very similar looking weather pattern with higher pressure towards the south and lower pressure towards Iceland, but more tightly packed isobars, perhaps with higher pressure a bit further south and a bit more of an unsettled flavour there for the north and west of the UK. But there is also a different version of events that starts to appear in the computer modelling, and that is for higher pressure to sink to the southwest and for more of a northerly wind to emerge with colder conditions. This is also possible, but it's not considered at the moment the most likely scenario. And any colder air, it doesn't really show up in the temperature trend. This looks at all the different model runs from the European model, and it shows the temperature trend for a central part of the UK. Now, this red line is the average for the time of year, and we're looking out towards the next 2 weeks or so, and the boxes show the most likely range of temperatures for each day. And as you can see, significantly above average as we go into next week. These boxes all above the red line. These are the daytime temperatures. A little bit of a trend as we start February for these boxes to start to return to average, but the range gets larger. That means there's more uncertainty. However, there's no real signal for anything particularly cold emerging here. And so at the moment, what we can say is over the next 10 to 14 days, weather patterns are expected to stay relatively mild, with perhaps a colder flavour as we go into the start of February. But by that time, there's a lot of disagreement in the computer modelling. So of course, we'll keep you updated right here at the Met Office on all of that. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube so you never miss an update. Bye-bye.